Hello, boys and girls. Welcome. It's Andy. You're about to watch or listen to a wonderful episode of Drag the Lake. Two things before we get going. As you guys like to know, or I assume you'd like to know, before every episode, we give you a preview of what we're going to talk about next week. I don't know if we actually brought this up in the episode or not, and if we did, we're changing it. But if we didn't, we're declaring it. So next week, I think we wanna go back to doing our versus thing we used to. It was kind of a slightly more fun and whatnot. So next week we're going spooky versus spooky, AFI versus Alkaline Trio, and we're gonna do Alkaline Trio from here to Infirmary and Sing the Sorrow by AFI. So this week we're talking about NOFX's War on Errorism, but if you want to get a head start on next week, those are the albums. Also, this was recorded in the middle of a very long stream, so the just casual way we segue into the episode is why. But other than that, enjoy the podcast. Be about it. Peace. They're called that's cheese, sir. Provolone.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, right? That's bothering me too.
Cancel that.
There we go.
Okay. Leave me alone.
They're called pulverones. I'll pulverize you.
I'll pulverone your face.
I'll pulverone your mother's fucking fart box.
But I will also pulverone a little dilly dally we like to call Drag the Lake.
Hey, casually sliding into it.
Very seamless. I gotta tell you,
this will actually make editing perfectly because when I look back on it, I'll be like, all right after cookie talk.
Yeah, right after we left the conches, we're going right into the punkas.
I'm very excited to talk about Drag the Lake. I forgot how much, not talk about Drag the Lake. I'm very excited to talk about NOFX because I forgot how fucking much I like this album.
I gotta tell you, I went through. I told you about when I procured this album when it came out.
Yeah,
this was so exciting. I remember getting the Regaining Unconsciousness.
How did you procure it?
I bought it at the Spec Music, and remember the guy was like, "I didn't have enough. I saved enough for it to be $9.99."
Oh, and then he had that moment. He's like, "This will teach about
a little lesson in capitalism." By the way, I still don't know what he was trying to teach me because I got the record. I only had to pay $10 for it.
Yeah.
So
he's like, honestly, you. I was like, funny enough, he kind of socialismed you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he found you were one of the have-nots, and he used part of his social safety net that is, who gives a fuck if I give this guy $3 off?
Yeah.
And he used that and gave, like, honestly, he socialismed you a little.
If he was like, I'll teach you a little something about capitalism. If you go out there and you mow the lawn for the by the road, I'll give you the extra money for the CD, and it'll show you that you have to work for it. No, he didn't.
You're like, no, you proved that I needed it, and you helped me.
And at this time, in politics, I was big into politics. You know, I told you I got really burnt out in politics real quick,
bro.
I was red hot.
No, I've been through that because I got fucking. It was funny. I was like never into politics. I just was. My only extent to being in politics was just going on board with whatever the popular thing was.
Yeah.
And then I got radicalized via podcast. Mm-hmm. But no, for real though. And then that's how I got into conspiracy shit where you're like, why is no one doing anything about this? And then you understand the world a little bit more and then you get super burnt out.
Yeah.
And that was me a couple years ago. So
I listened to punk rock. I listened to metal. I listened to AM radio when I was driving a truck. I would listen to like,
have you gone back into AM radio?
Not necessarily.
But you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah,
the quality of this is weirdly bad. Why is this still a thing?
But this was like such a. In my opinion, I love this album, but I also thought like I don't think I really like the social and political shit. I already knew. You know what I mean? Like you already know their stance on this shit, but like them. The reason I loved this so much was because it wasn't necessarily as much as what their personal politics was at the time, where they got a lot of slack around this time. There's kind of a going back and forth with because of this album and because of them supporting John Kerry, Propaganda really kind of
Oh yeah, that's right.
got bitchy about it, and they started talking shit.
Fat Mike talked about that in the NoFX book, where
Yeah.
he was because like the big thing that was like weird for that was because punk was really starting to get a little bit more mainstream at the time.
Yeah.
So someone like Fat Mike putting a support behind a candidate could actually affect the election to a degree.
Yeah.
But there was a thing where it's like punk's always been about like fuck the system and anarchy and shit, and you actively have one of the biggest punks in the world. Like, I don't fault him in the long run, but I get people being like, wait, Fat Mike's actively telling you to support John Kerry?
Right.
I get people being like, brother, what?
But that's what I'm saying is like this
brother.
After that, and after John Kerry lost and George Bush got elected for another term. But it was a thing where you're like, at that point, I got really fatigued.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'm fucking so tired of this.
I think that's when a lot of people get fatigued, where you're just like I had a reverse one where, like, I'll be honest, I was one of those people being like, I don't like Trump, I don't like Kamala. I didn't actually vote for him or whatever, but more philosophically, like, you're like, maybe you got a little delusional and you're like, I'll roll my dice on this psychopath over that one. And then it's just like, I got hit with this huge wave of fatigue where it's like, oh, you're just going to be the same exact piece of shit they all are.
Yeah.
And it's just not, it's just like when you're like, oh, it's like, we're not even going to get crumbs.
Yeah.
So I get that like level of like fucking fatigue with that shit.
So I associated a lot of like essentially this being like their political album.
Yeah.
But I've said it a million times. I've did my breakdown of, in our last iteration of this show, I did my breakdown of NoFX albums, rated them. I don't know. Was that Drag the Lake? I can't remember. Did I do that?
Are you talking about the
what about?
Are you talking about the reactions? Because I know we did Every Time I Die, and then we ordered the albums.
But
you might be thinking Every Time I Die.
I went through and I like listed my favorite NoFX albums.
Okay. I don't remember that, but I believe you.
But either way, I came across the solution, or I was like, I think Heavy Petting Zoo might be my new favorite. It was, for the longest time, it was So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes.
Was that because when we did the Heavy Petting Zoo episode a couple months ago? Maybe that's when you did it.
No. I'm saying we did it before that.
When we were still doing About.
And then I revisited this album, obviously, for War and Errorism. And I go, man, this album is so ahead of its time.
So
it's because it's like, it's this thing of like everything they're talking about in this. Also,
wait, keep going with that thought.
Everything they're talking about in this album is happening or has happened in that time frame.
Okay.
Like, to where they're like, it wasn't an overreaction. Like, legitimately, the things that they're talking about in like Regaining Unconsciousness, the song, a lot. And this is a NoFX album where like the hits are great. I like the hits, but I also like every song on this album is like 100% for me.
Well,
I know, except for, by the way, Nubs. I hate that song. I think it's so silly, and I don't think it fits.
What's very funny about that is, my stance on funny music. Like, I like tongue-in-cheek music that has funny parts to it.
Yeah.
Not a big funny music guy. Lil Dicky and Weird Al are like my two exceptions.
Yeah.
Not a big funny music guy. I was like, I actually gotta give it to him. Nubs is one of my favorite funny songs.
Oh, wow.
Because I think I understand lyrically if it's annoying, but it's just like, dude, it was one of the songs, that and 13 Stitches. Nubs was one of the songs I caught myself singing a bunch this week because the way that it's just the melody and stuff.
I like the I guess what you would call the chorus, that Nubs, she is Nubs,
she's Nubs, she is Nubs, she's got beautiful eyes and breast regular size and she's Nubs. Like, I just like the way it progresses throughout the song is very bouncy and fun.
Even with my not liking that song, I probably know this is one of few albums in general. A lot of NoFX albums, like, I know a lot of the words. I know probably every word to almost every song on this. I think, Andy, this is probably my new favorite NoFX album. It is timeless.
So that's what I really wanted.
It's not as dated as I thought.
That's what I really wanted to ask you about, because this is easily my favorite NoFX album. That being said, this is one of maybe 3 or 4 I've listened to front to back.
Yeah.
So like me saying it's my favorite NoFX album, it's just like, yeah, it got first place in a race of 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean anything, but that is what I wanted. I was like, because I'm very familiar with NoFX. This to me also too, I think is like, I think it's like a halfway point on NoFX's career. Because if you look pre-War on Errorism, there's a specific style and vibe. And if you look at post-War on Errorism, there's a specific style and vibe. And War on Errorism, I feel, sits in a pocket of its own with elements of both eras of NoFX. But like all the pre stuff, all the pre stuff is very good. Like you got before War and Errorism, you got like Linoleum, Sticking in My Eye, Don't Call Me White, a bunch of really good ones that like identify that time period and shit like that. But a lot of that stuff to me is still just like it hasn't gotten like refined yet and stuff like that. And then when you get to War on Errorism, it like really fucking locks in. And then post that, I've checked out some NoFX stuff, and all of that stuff feels like it's like every so often their
midpoint. Yeah,
every so often you feel like the passion is going post War and Errorism. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but like I was just trying to like crunch the numbers, take my best guess, and I was like, this might be NoFX's best album.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, guys, we see the comments. This is the actual podcast, not the stream, so we'll answer those at the end.
Yeah. There's also I think I've said it many times. I love their sense of humor.
Yeah.
I like their stage show. I like all that. But like when it comes to I like bummer NoFX. I like serious NoFX. And that's a really good point, because you're saying before this, there is some jokes, there's some, whatever, but like bummer NoFX is one of the greatest, because it becomes so much more, like you said, impassioned. Essentially, I don't mind the pop punk songs where you're like songs like Creeping Out Sarah, like the songs that came up after this.
Yeah,
felt more like they're just telling stories. They're not just like, it almost became after this, because after this album was Wolves and Wolves Clothing. They're just talking about, here's a bunch of things that happened when we're on this road. Here's a bar that we like. Here's a torture den we went in Japan. And then Coaster, they're just talking about like, isn't it crazy how old shit is and blah, blah, blah. But it gets back into like that's when they have for the first time ever a movie clip intro in one of their albums, and it's 2009
on Coaster.
On Coaster, they do for We Called It America. They have a clip from Glengarry Glen Ross, and then Self-Entitled gets back into where you're like, okay, there's like some things. There's Ronnie and Mags. There's like they're trying to be like this weird like punk band again. It feels like they reset and they kind of go back to being like, let's just write kind of surface level punk songs again. You're like, no, get into like your divorce. This is like them on the way up, in my opinion. And then there's like this is like the crest. This is them at the top, because like it's him when he sings like because there's a sequel to one of the songs on this one, on a later song.
Jealous Again,
where I think that's the one where I go like, oh, they're back. I think it was Ditch Effort. Ditch Effort was one of my favorites. I think fuck, where is it?
No, they have for people who don't know, they have a song that's like a response to Too Jealous Again, because we got Too Jealous Again. That's about him and his wife having like, it's like a song about his wife, and it's like a reference to having similar. Because Jealous Again's an album, for anyone who doesn't know.
It was them melding their collection.
Yeah, and then when he got like, what did he like, divorce her or something? So it was talking about not having that anymore.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, I think it's them. It's him marrying his wife and them like blending their record collections.
Yeah,
I think it was Self-Entitled. When they got back to it, was Self-Entitled was the one, because it has My Orphan Year. It has I Fatty. I've got One Jealous Again.
Yeah,
that like this Self-Entitled is the one where I'm like, okay, they're back to bummer NoFX. This is good, because it has so much more substance.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that they can't grow. Obviously, I love growth. It's fine, but this absolutely, I think, was their pinnacle. This was like this is their best album. It's
Yeah.
got a very definitive, like, they've got their goofy stuff. They've got their fun song mentioning all their friends and their references and stuff. And then they have like a couple really good, like,
But even
themed.
in the goofy songs, there's like a lot of heart to them. Like
Yeah.
with the general, like one of my favorite songs on the, well, truthfully, it's hard to pick a favorite song on this album
Yeah.
because every song has a very unique thing that I get out of. Like you talk about their bummer songs, the irrationality of rationality, and then like that song hits, and then when it kind of drops out and it's just the guitar, and then he goes, Helen. Still living in her car.
Yeah.
Gotta feel, and then the drums are just like, which I was thinking about that as a drummer because I randomly pulled up the NoFX did like three concerts to like end their career, right?
Yeah.
And like the one I watched was like a 2-hour clip. They probably played for an hour and a half plus. And I'm just thinking about their drummer having to play those fast ass songs 3 days in a row. I go, that's insane.
Yeah.
But
he's definitely conditioned.
Oh, without a doubt. Like you're playing this music, for so long, you're conditioned, but it's still like I was hearing Travis Barker on Rogan talk about how like there is wear and tear from playing this fast your whole life.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that song, that like fucking gets me. Like I love the song, but you like feel sad when you hear it. But then like Mattersville comes off as you said it has like one of the best lyrics, like Davey Havoc's house is painted black.
Yeah.
And he's like, but all the lines,
I love Anarchy Camp.
Like all the lines, like the images he's painting, he's like, there's always a keg of beer and a block of cheese, and he's like bringing up, and it comes off as silly. But that mixed that with like the guitar tone and the chord progression and the like moderately fast but not too fast punk vibe of it. That one just makes me happy, and I get nostalgic for a thing that never existed.
It's a thing, a thing where like they have like just talking about like your bros and you all retiring in the same community, and like that being kind like having a compound kind of thing. Like it's kind of a fun. Like,
well, yeah, that's kind of what you think about. You're like, imagine if you, me, Nate, and Lemaire, we're done doing comedy. And
we got
just
4 houses on a cul-de-sac.
We just want to live in the same cul-de-sac.
Brother, that would be the funnest thing in the world to have you guys as neighbors. Yeah. Just to be able to like, it would be annoying, but in a fun way. Like in this thing of us fucking with each other, doing whatever, like any of that shit. Like pranks galore.
If we all
parties, had, little house party, we could have a little cul-de-sac party barbecue thing. Like that would be fucking sick.
It would be sick too, though, because.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like is he's writing that about like some of his best buddies, and they're just be like, "Oh, it'd be so fun."
Well, no, imagine.
It's almost like a pitch.
I'm literally thinking about it logistically because I'm like, dude, imagine we had like 4 houses in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
we go to one of the houses in the middle of the 4. That's where we party, and we don't have to worry about being loud.
Yeah,
because it's our houses we're the neighbors.
Yeah, it's our wives. They all know. Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up.
Let the boys party.
Oh, you're trying to sleep because you pay most of the bills? Oh. Shut up.
Oh, you bought all these houses? Whatever.
Oh, you gotta get a good night's sleep to go to your job to pay for the cars we just got?
Stream.
I'm streaming and talking about politics with my friends.
But that's the thing is like it's like an optimistic but like honest, and like it's like a very researched album. Do you know what I mean? Like there's personal experience in it. There's like a list of facts.
Yeah.
There's also like there's opinions, there's hypotheticals, there's also like there's so many different like great references, and it's all like great musicianship. Like the bass line for the beginning of I believe it's The Idiots Are Taking Over.
Yeah.
That fucking, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's the kind of shit where you're like, oh yeah, Fat Mike's good at bass. But you forget.
But that is like that's not there's plenty of times where it's him playing solo, but like he's doing that shit in like the irrationality of rationality, the separation of like there's like those elements that are in each one of these things where you're like, what the fuck is it? I think it's American Errorism. That's the one. That's the one that they used on the Regaining Unconsciousness EP to have a commercial. There's a voiceover with Hefe, he goes, "Gabba gabba, hey, punk rock fans, have you been excited about the new NoFX album featuring blah blah blah?" And it's like, it says like, and with Eric Melvin as guest vocalist, and it just has him going like, ah, and they're like, "Let's hear that one more time." Ah! It's like a little commercial for the album, but they're playing clips of the songs. It got me so fucking hyped for the album.
Yeah.
That's why I waited until FYE opened the next, like, or when it came out. I was like, I knew the date. I fucking was going to listen because I was so excited because it's such a well thought out, perfect fucking. It is way more of a perfect album and way more timeless than I thought. Which is kind of sad that if this was happening in the early 2000s and still is or is possibly getting worse in 2025, it's kind of depressing that it is timeless in that way, but it's also very poignant, and the message and the stories still ring true and like still like mean something nowadays.
Yeah, and I think also too a big reason why it's timeless is not just the lyrics but like musically. And it's like this is a theory I was working with where, and I don't know how many people are going to be happy with this, but I don't know if I can be as bold to say the punk was the best in the early 2000s, but I might. And this is my problem. My problem is it's like, isn't it crazy how the best time of SNL was when I was in elementary school? Like, because I'm kind of doing that. I go, so dude, get this. The best time punk rock was when I was in 9th to 10th grade. So like, there is a lot of that I am acknowledging, but thinking about it going back, and it's not to be like, there's every generation, every decade has a very strong thank you for your service. Like that was our thing about the Ramones. We don't hate the Ramones. It's just in hindsight, they don't hit the same.
Yeah.
Because it was just like they were the first ones to go, what if this was fast?
Yeah.
And it's like without them, like they were the big stepping stone, but they just don't hit the same now. And I go back and it's like every time they bring up a great album, like I think the best example is they always bring up Bad Brains, and Bad Brains does rip, but sometimes it just, the recording quality's whatever. And it's not that it's not a good album. It's just when you listen to so you get the years of figuring it out. And then boom, you get to the early 2000s from a sound standpoint. Cause that's a big thing for me with NoFX is the guitar tone. The guitar tone is unmatched. And it's like from a sound standpoint and the fact that punk rock was kind of it was mainstream. So bands like NoFX and Bad Religion and Pennywise could get a lot of money for their albums. I think some of these albums from like 02 to, maybe 08 or something, and yes, conveniently the time I was in high school from 04 to 08, whatever. Yeah. But no, like from a songwriting standpoint, from a recording standpoint, from message and shit, well, maybe message, I don't know. But I think early 2000s has some of the best punk albums ever.
I think for sure, because at the time of the Ramones, they would have been right to say this is the greatest punk band that's ever existed, because at the time they were the only ones, or like maybe even a handful for a while. But like once you improve to a point, like, but if you listen to the stuff after this, you listen to punk music after this, like there's some good releases by some of these bands, but if we're talking about some of like the greatest punk bands in general, like, and I'm just saying like overall, there's obviously NoFX, you know what I mean? Like I would say No Use for a Name / I'm going to give the same slot to NoFX, No Use for a Name and Lagwagon, because they're very, very similar. And I'm not saying that they're the same band, but I'm just saying that they feel like they hold the kind of same spot.
I'm just saying I haven't seen Lagwagon and No Use for a Name in the same room ever.
And I'll throw Strung Out, even though I feel like they're a little bit different than those guys, but they're
Aren't they
close.
A little more metal?
They're a little bit more metal, but I'll even throw, like, let's give them all one spot. Like that, because I love that new school style, but I don't want to give them all my spots. You know what I'm saying? But like even AFI in the early 2000s is putting out some pretty fucking some heat. Do you know what I'm saying?
2025. If you're into sexy goth music.
So like they have
shit, I forgot about the matches. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, but just in general, like, there's so much great music happening in that early 2000s because, like, that's when these bands who were influenced by the other bands
Yeah.
were at their pinnacle. So,
Yeah.
like, there was just so many other bands, and then after that,
No, that's the
there's so few bands that are like sticking with like just traditional punk music because
yeah.
like there's like Masked Intruder and like that, but it becomes so formulaic and it becomes
Well,
like
that's
even though it's good, I love Masked Intruder,
yeah.
but like they're just like a pop
Well, no,
punk
that's
band,
the
you know,
thing
like
is that's the thing. Once pop punk and emo got into the
they're not exploring more, you
once
know?
like pop punk and emo got into the mix, writing actual like punk rock music stopped. Like punk rock music kind of stopped evolving. I think
Yeah.
there's some
Way
bands,
better way to say it.
There's some, what?
than me going, it just stopped getting better.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it just stopped evolving. Evolving is a better way to say it.
Well, I do like there are a lot of bands, like I always joke, I call it Springsteen core with the fucked ups of the world and the Menzingers of the world and stuff. But there are bands that are incorporating hardcore now, but they're like a Cosmic Joke, who Cosmic Joke sounds like Bad Religion or Circle Jerks, but also they kind of like sound like a hardcore band.
Yeah.
So I think punk being exciting is coming back, but there's a good chunk for like a decade where it was just nothing new.
It's just kind of like on life support where it's like it's cool and everything, and it's kind of on the radio and like Blink-182 is around, but they're kind of like they're not what they were. You know,
it's weird, dude. Some punk bands just decided to stop, like because every band has that like 3-4 album run where they fucking hit, and then a lot of punk bands, once they start getting to 4 or 5, you start realizing you're like, this is the only thing, these are the only songs you can write,
right?
So that's why around like probably 2010 you start realizing that with punk bands where you're like, oh, this is the only thing you could do, and a bunch of punk bands kept doing that. And dude, to the point where I don't want to put them on blast, but there's one of these bands that are they're like a Fat Records type band, and they put out an album like a week or two ago, and I'm listening to it and I go, this sounds dated for 2010. What are we doing, man? And it's like, that's the thing that always irked me about fucking punk bands. It's just like, no matter the time period, they're like, oh, we're gonna sound like a nostalgia act, don't worry. It's just weird, the lack of like innovation they have on themselves.
You want a 4 album run? I'll give you a 4 album run.
I think they got more than that, but go ahead.
But Punk and Drublick, Heavy Petting Zoo, So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes, Pump Up the Valium, sorry. And then, wait, that's 4. So from Punk and Drublick, right? So that's 4, right? In a row. But right after that is War and Errorism.
But that's the thing,
this is only 4 albums after.
But no, hilariously, like that's NOFX isn't a good example of that.
Because even before that, and after,
even on their later albums where they don't hit the same, they still have some like cool creative shit where they're trying to like do a little bit new stuff.
All of these I like. So like, I still love all of their releases. I like all of their releases. I love most of them. But like Wolves in Wolves Clothing still has some bangers. Still a really good album. Coaster is kind of a sleeper, but mostly goofy, mostly like weird theme songs. But Self-Entitled and Ditch Effort, I was like, okay, boys, this ain't too bad. And then they like kind of went right back downhill with single album. And I didn't realize they just released something in July.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Did we?
Yeah, because no band ever actually fucking breaks up.
Yeah.
I love NOFX. I despise bands announcing their breakup because you're not gonna. Unless you're in Operation Ivy. But no, like NOFX is a good example of like they always have the NOFX sound, but they never evolved. I mean, I'm sorry, they did evolve. It's just there's so many punk bands that like Bad Religion stuck on pretty well because they were probably one of the first to do that, so they got grandfathered in. But yeah, it's like even some of the ones that stuck around, like I feel I don't listen to enough Social Distortion to make that.
I gotta tell you, this is a controversial take. At the level of like my Fugazi hatred, I do not like Social Distortion.
Is it because of them or the
them?
Okay,
I hate their sound. I hate Mike Ness.
Well, so can I tell you my thing about Social Distortion? I remember I got introduced to them because of the Ring of Fire cover.
Okay, yeah.
And I hear it and I go, I'm just listening to the guitar part.
Yeah.
And it's just and I'm like, what's the point of the cover?
I never got what they were.
If you played this song, the only reason I'll know this is Ring of Fire is when the guy starts saying Ring of Fire.
Yeah. Almost exactly like Johnny Cash. They're trying to do a Johnny,
yeah. I didn't get deep into Social Distortion because like every time I listen to them, I go, hey, it's like they make the joke. Every punk band's got 3 chords.
Yeah.
But like you got to zhuzh it up a little. Like Green Day will have 3 chords till the day they die, but on their good songs, they're putting in cool rhythms. He's kind of like doing a little bit of fancy shit. You got Trey Cool in the back going crazy. Every time I've ever listened to Social Distortion, it's like they turned to the rhythm guitarist and they went, all right, calm down, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're the lead guitarist.
When I heard that Matt Freeman joined the band,
who is that?
That's some bass player from fucking Rancid.
Oh,
Maxwell Murder. Sorry, you know him as Maxwell Murder.
Yeah, I know his maiden name.
But he was like, when I found that, I was like, what? I did this. I went, what a waste. I go, what do you like? It's like saying like, hey, we just got this Ferrari and we're gonna put a governor on it so it can't go past 15.
It's like, yo, did you hear who's the Dream Theater drummer?
Mike Portnoy.
He just got hired for Miley Cyrus. You're like,
brother,
why?
That is actually really funny. His Dromeo video, he plays a Taylor Swift song.
Oh, that's funny.
He plays Shake It Off, and he's like, that's pretty good. He's like, I would totally play with you. He's like, I'm really sorry if you didn't like what I did with your song. I could do it how you want it.
Yeah, I'd really love.
He's super funny.
I'd really love to make multiple millions of dollars.
But like this is absolutely their pinnacle, and I feel like a lot of bands at this time were at their peak because they're what the hell just happened?
That was weird.
What the hell? I'm gonna turn this off.
We're still going.
Yeah. But
sorry, our Pat's one screen went black.
That was really weird.
Very weird way.
It just went like this.
Yeah, it was like
we got fucking Illuminati. But there's like a weird thing where you're like, I can't think of a time period. And again, yes, you're right. It's like it's around the time that I was listening to this music the most. But these were the bands that like I love their old releases.
Yeah.
I love the hits again. But the ones that they're putting out when I'm listening to them, like to me, Alkaline Trio had one of their best releases ever, and I still like their other stuff.
They put a new song today, by the way.
Did they really?
I didn't.
What
listen
are the fucking
to it
odds I can? We
what?
always do this where we're like we mentioned a band that like just put something out that day.
Because Christ is King.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it. We don't. That's what he identifies as. But the Crimson, I think, is their release for this one.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
and
I'll look it up.
I think it's 2005, maybe 3. But either way, it's like all these bands are like just fucking coking at this time.
Well, dude,
they're putting out some of their best work, and it's because like they've put out these other ones, they've played all these shows, they've done all this stuff, they've had all these experiences, but like I said, this being such a timeless album, I feel like they should change. You know how they changed the name of that Tom Cruise movies after it was what was it called before?
Mission Impossible. They're like Mission Impossible 2. You're like, you know what? Make that one 3.
Mission Probably Possible. But no, it was
Edging Tomorrow.
The Edge of Tomorrow, and they switched it to Live Die Repeat or whatever, or at least the packaging, the cover. They did that.
I don't know if they changed the name though.
They definitely changed the thumbnail though. I think they may have changed the name retroactively.
I don't think they did that.
But I think they should change the cover art for this because I feel like it's if they just had it, because I feel like it dates it and it doesn't, like there's very little mention of current politics, I feel like, except for like the Franco and American.
Yeah.
Did they change it?
No, they didn't change it.
Okay. I just I wanted to actually know because I know that they definitely changed the image to say Live Die Repeat because they're like everybody liked that more.
Yeah, that's just like cool advertising.
I don't think they need to change the name of the album. I think just the cover art.
No, I hear what you're saying where like the cover art does
Just update it.
The cover art does feel a little bit dated because it's George Bush and stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone decided like, well, Donald Trump's evil, and now George Bush is cuddly for some reason.
He's a good painter.
I also think, well, no. So you're talking about all these. We're talking about how all these bands are cooking right now. So a lot of the bands too we're talking about, because that's a good thing you mentioned. That's a interesting thing you mentioned with. Sorry, point up to scale.
Fingers up.
With Alkaline Trio, because you're right. A lot of these bands who have some of their great albums right now had been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got to think like. It's the funniest part when you go back and listen to all the like, they're like, all right, let's talk about the origins of punk rock. So the Stooges, and then you hear them and you're just like, it's like if the Rolling Stones didn't know what the blues was.
I know why your parents hated this at the time.
Yeah.
I get it. When they say it's just noise, it kind of just sounds like a lot of noise.
I mean, yeah, I don't
It's
hate
good.
I don't hate no, some of the Stooges stuff rips, but
Yeah.
I get why it was crazy at the time. So it's like it starts off with bands like the Stooges, and then we said before, Ramones have the brilliant idea of what if it was faster? And then you start having like a little bit, you have like the emo stuff, and then that makes punk a little bit more emotional. And then now, because even when you go back to the 90s, like recording quality with a lot of those punk bands, because it wasn't mainstream yet, the recording quality isn't there 100%. And then now mix that with the fact that it's popular, it's mainstream. They've already figured out a bunch of the shit. They did the trial and error of what's good and what's bad about this genre and stuff like that. Pair that up with the recording quality is better. There's more money for it. And it's just a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm of why the early 2000s might be the best pocket for punk music.
Yeah, it's just good timing. That's like a. It's
That's
not like,
we're not.
It doesn't
take away from anyone else.
No,
it's just they got lucky that they were born at that time. That a bunch of people did all the hard work right before them,
and that like the early '90s, like early to mid '90s, like punk boom was in effect. You know what I'm saying? Like all these guys were able to like make a living, and like it's really, and that's what I'm saying is like. The bands
like,
the bands that I love
killed himself.
The bands that I love the most are bands that were like from the guy who decided to take all the money he's making in like with the early 90s like Fat Mike and say like I'm going to start a record company, and then other people going like because like that's what's his face did with Epitaph, and like it's like this is how we grow the thing. So we have Epitaph, which is a fucking killer label. And then you add Fat Records, which is another one that's adding more band. Like it's just adding. It's like essentially expansion teams in a league.
Yeah.
And we just were in like the beautiful, perfect pocket of like the second expansion league.
WWE.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is Punk's second expansion league, and this is like its glory days.
It's WWE before we realized CTE was real.
Yes, yeah. This is like chair shots,
because WWE
beer.
Yeah, it's like WWE's like I like WWE now, but there was something magical about the Attitude Era where
of no consequences.
No one was concerned over any problems.
Hell in a Cell. This is the things like we saw live. I heard live Owen Hart's death because it was pay-per-view. It was scrambled pay-per-view.
Oh, I thought you were like I listened to that one on the radio.
No, yeah. It was Hell in a Cell. All of the Hell in a Cells,
all the great shit of like the Attitude
and like
the
that's what I'm saying.
Of the Ruthless. Because actually,
was that the safest time in wrestling or the most profitable? Maybe not. Who knows? But that was the greatest time to be a fan of wrestling because of the growth that we were able to witness.
Yeah,
I think that's the same idea with
that was probably the most.
You know what I mean?
Well, it was like pre-internet the way it is now. So Attitude and beginning of Ruthless Aggression was most definitely the most fun time to be a wrestler. Because it was the kind of shit where it was like you'd watch wrestling, go to school, and everyone would know what happened.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like
it's probably the most fun time to be a punk fan. Yeah.
Yeah. And wrestling is coming back into that. Maybe punk and wrestling are on the same cycle, essentially. Like maybe they're roommates or something.
Yeah, maybe. Well, also too, the benefit of I see a lot of and this is the only time I've ever been 35, so it's no last. Well, no, I'm just like, I try to be measured with how my perspective on things, because I try not to be those people to go like, You guys ever notice buildings were higher when you were a kid? Like, I try not to be
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
those guys because I'm like, I didn't know what it was like to be an adult 20 years ago.
Right.
But I'm thinking, like, because I'm wondering, because, like, I feel like when I was younger, shit from back in the day would come back for like a little bit and then go away. Like, you remember when for some reason big band music was popular?
Yeah.
I feel like that comes back and goes away. Like, Limp Bizkit came back, and then everyone goes like, "Oh yeah, remember when we all pretended to not like them?"
Yeah.
And like Limp Bizkit's just around all the time now. Like, I think like certain things come back now and just stay. And I think unfortunately it's indicative of how shitty things are. Cause it's like you're going through the day and day, you read the news, you're like, oh yeah, CIA probably killed Charlie Kirk, and then you see Fred Durst doing something, you're like, this reminds me when I didn't have any problems.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of old school nostalgic shit's coming back. I talked about it in like, I think metalcore is the best it's ever been because a lot of bands are like, we figured out how to actually scream. We figured out how to be heavy. We're taking a little bit from hardcore. We're taking a little bit from screamo. It's turned into a nice big gumbo of sad whites. And and it's just like, yeah, I think a lot of those, like, we took a break from a lot of these things, and people are musically are bringing back a lot of shit from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many bands that I mean, I already said it with Limp Bizkit, but there's so many bands that aren't just, oh, we're doing a reunion
Look
tour.
at the weird.
No, we're a regular working band. Motion City Soundtrack just put out an album. The Starting Line's gonna put out an album soon. Like Under Oath is still pop. Like, there's bands from our childhood that are just working again now. It's crazy.
Alkaline Trio just put out something not too long ago. Like all these bands are like, and that's the thing is the When We Were Young festival, the Warped Tour coming back, all these other things where it's coming back because obviously they've done that in past generations before because they're like, oh, this generation has more disposable income now or blah blah blah. But it's still like that wasn't as marketed to, I feel like, in the time, but it's also because those things were like those were huge at the time. It's almost like when you watch damn, what was that reference I was going to use? Fuck, I can't remember. It's like watching a TV show or something like that, or an old thing, and being like, oh shit, that guy's in movies now. Oh shit, he's in this. Oh shit, he's in this. You know what I mean? Like when cameos come up or something like that. Maybe I'm getting a No More Heroes mind now, where I'm starting to think about movies and film. But
See, I think
like it's just a thing of like that is a time where they're like, holy shit, we could profit off this. This was huge at that time. If we bring this back now, those guys will definitely, you know what I mean? And they're fucking right.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I personally think it a little bit more has to do with just the current state of the world.
Yeah.
And people like even though it was post 9/11, up to like 05 still had a tiny bit of that like naivete we had in the 90s.
Yeah.
Of like, why would the world, people had yet to fully understand why the world hated us.
That's what the wrestling was so good too, was the naivety.
Well,
or at least the
naivete. They didn't. They you could hit Brock Lesnar in the it's the best clip ever when the Hardy Boys hit Lesnar with the chair shot.
Yeah,
and it it's the loudest chair shot in history.
Yeah,
no one was caring. No one was worrying about CTE. They fucking saw Chris Benoit do 1,000 diving headbutts, and they're like, "What happened?
Fine.
What happened?
Yeah, what? Yeah, like
no, because I think because it's like once 05 hits, we start to learn that like, wait, why are all these Middle Easterners mad at us? Wait, it's for like a valid reason.
Wait, hold on.
It's not just because of our freedom,
brother.
And then
being a thing, they hate us because of our freedoms.
It's so stupid, but
it's so crazy.
And then like the devaluation of the currency starts to set in, so people start. Well, dude, then think about it. 08, the financial crisis. A bunch of people lose their fucking money. Inflation is just slowly going crazier, and so it's like a bunch of people that could just be vibing out in the early 2000s have to work their ass off to live a regular middle-class life. And then you're telling me Limp Bizkit is back? Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to that.
Yeah. It's a good distraction, and it's good. And it's just good to see. It's just nice to see that like either bands still got it. It's not like every band. And that was the thing that I think like bands like Kiss and other bands like maybe thought about when they were younger. And this is a great point I've heard bring up before. I wish I could credit the person, but I can't remember who said it. Essentially, like when they were younger, bands didn't tour until they were in their 50s and 60s. Like that just wasn't a thing that happened. It wasn't an option. So like when they retire, they have their farewell tour and then they come back. Bands having their farewell tour and then they're just sitting at home. They're like, well, I can still play. I still really like playing.
Yeah.
I still like money. I don't need it, but like I don't like what else am I gonna do? So like they just go back on tour and it's like people are like, I thought you were on your farewell tour. Like it's because it wasn't a thing before.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like this is like there was festivals before, but like Warped Tour and stuff was a fucking time, dude. And when we were going to Warped Tour, that's proven because it definitely stopped after a while. When we were going to the Warped Tour the most was the greatest time. Like they had it all thought out, and then it got super corporatized and got super ruined each year a little bit more to where like, yes, we got older, but also we're like, what are you doing?
Well,
This
Warped
sucks.
Tour, what happened to Warped Tour
Who are you
2,
booking?
What happened to Warped Tour 2 is similar. It's funny when you brought up Epitaph, I made a face and I was going to make the joke where it's like, you're like, Epitaph is great. And I go, then or now? Because now if you look at Epitaph, you're like, what is this label? I always talk. It's why I love Flat Spot Records. I always give them a shout out. Flat Spot and Closed Casket Activity. They're two of my favorite record labels because it's not always the same. It's not always the exact same like genre of music, but it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
The same vibe. Yeah. And it's like I don't have to know the band. If I hear Flat Spot put out a new record, if I hear Closed Casket Activity put out a new record, I go check it out.
Yeah.
What like Warped Tour, it was around the time I stopped going to Warped Tour because not knowing these bands, you just go and you're like, not that there's never been a little bit of electronic or rap, but you're like half of the lineup is electronic music.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing where it was the same problem that happened with like labels like Epitaph, or I've seen Hopeless Records do it a little.
Yeah.
They stopped believing in themselves just because punk rock stopped being mainstream. And it's like, no, we liked you guys because it was punk rock. Now you're going like, what if we got the SoundCloud rapper?
Yeah, and we didn't like you because you are a mainstream record company. We liked the bands that were there's so many bands that I learned from getting Epitaph or Fat Records compilations just to go like, it's great because you get that little sampler and you go like, oh, I like them. That sounds pretty good. I'll check them out. Like that's
so many bands because of the Warped Tour sampler.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like that. It wasn't. Again, this is why it's guaranteed it was actually the greatest time, because when we were going to Warped Tour, that was the best way to find new music or to discover bands, was to go there
outside of the Tony Hawk soundtracks, yeah,
and walking around and just getting like you get a little free demo, you get a free thing, and like you just go home and like nowadays, yeah, you can have your Discover Weekly, but that's like an algorithm going like, what can we sell? What bands can we profit off if we get more streams, or what? It's not necessarily. It's probably not that evil all the time, but it's not just because they thought you would like this music. There is a reason they're suggesting. There's a reason they continue to suggest Fugazi to me, even though I tell them stop suggesting fucking Fugazi to me.
Everyone who listens to what you listen to likes Fugazi,
right? And I'm like, so there's like it's not listening to me.
It's not that, yeah, it's not listening to you. There's a reason they do it. They're wrong, but no, like talking about. I was looking up the band. There was this band. They were called. I think they were called Left Alone. I can't remember or not. I met them at Warped Tour, and I was talking to them, and then like they were like, we have albums, and I hit them with the, and then through our interaction, they go like, what if for the album we threw in like a poster and some pins and stickers or buttons and stuff?
You're not sure if you like us, but what if we gave you more stuff that had our logo on it? And you're like,
more free stuff, yeah. And
then that's exactly.
No, I mean, like you're being funny.
No. That's exactly what I would think too.
But I was like, I bought it then, and then I got to know them, and now I have this album where it's not like my favorite album, but I go, oh, this is the band I kind of met.
Yeah, I had
You
the
know what
same
I mean?
thing.
Like, this is the band I know.
I had a similar thing with the band The Letters Organize.
Yeah.
I met them on a side stage at the Warped Tour once, and I was just like, I saw them, and I was like, this band's pretty fucking sick. This is
Yeah.
awesome. Got their, I think I bought their like EP or LP or whatever that came out, but it talked to the band. You know what I mean? Like that's it's like the best. It was just the best networking and opportunity spot, I think, for a lot of bands. I don't think they made a ton of money, but as far as like stories, experience, like, and then it just got ruined by fucking commercialization and fucking and bullshit, and just overall, like, the market changed. Like the hottest shit wasn't fucking pop punk or punk rock in general, but it was definitely, that was not just in the sense of it was better when I was a kid. It was literally like, no, this was a big moment in punk rock. It was probably the biggest moment in punk.
That's the thing. You gotta,
aside from its creation.
Well, no, it's like
Sorry,
oh no, you're good. I am very curious what definitely killed the Warped Tour, because there's a lot of times I always go to the Netflix Blockbuster example. Because everyone always goes, "Oh, Blockbuster, Netflix killed Blockbuster," and then I listened to a whole podcast about it.
Yeah,
and it's like Blockbuster killed Blockbuster. They were about to, like, they had a streaming service. Everyone actually, they were one of the first 2 streaming services. It was better than Netflix.
They had a mail-in thing too.
They were doing all the Netflix stuff.
Yeah,
it's just they got themselves in insane debt and ran their stores very poorly. So Blockbuster, literally, if they had better management, Blockbuster would still be around, and we would be in like a different type of world.
It would be maybe more competitive with Netflix.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe actually at-home viewing would still be somewhat more, or not at home. Obviously, we do at home. I mean, going to the store to get the whatever the fuck. But so that's why I always go with the Warped Tour thing. I'm very curious specifically what it was, because I'm always like they could have adapted, and because like right now they showed a market for it, but like that is the other thing too. People forget like it's not so much hip hop, because I think for a while hip hop was the mainstream. It's not really that anymore. Pop music is getting back, but like I'll put it this way: we lived in a time and day where if you go and you look up one of the musics for the number 12 looks like you, a fucking mathcore band. Yeah. If you look up one of their music videos, it'll have the MTV2 logo. Rock music, like punk rock and stuff like that was so popular. MTV played mathcore.
Yeah.
So like we were in a different time, and I wonder how much of the fall off of that killed the Warped Tour, or was like mismanagement.
It's got to be the mismanagement, because you can have a graceful exit from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But also things change, dude. Like ask fucking grunge.
Sorry, you said that like ass fucking.
Ass fucking. No, what's the other one? Hair metal. You know what I mean? Like grunge and hair metal, like it's same thing. It's just kind of it's growth, but it's also like it's you gotta adapt. And I think Warped Tour, as far as being able to profit off of it and being able to advance from it, and like thinking about where, like, how many record labels were started in this time, how many like all this other shit where they're just like, oh no, we're making hay while the sun's shining. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we're on TV. Okay, check out my fucking record label. And then to think about how many what became more mainstream bands have come from those labels, even. Something like Rise Against Me.
Did you hear their last album, by the way?
What, Rise Against?
It's impressively bad.
I think I remember. Didn't you share it with me? And you're like, "This is so incredibly bad."
Well,
like, "Wow."
I was paying attention.
Oh no, it was Devil Wears Prada.
Well, that too.
Sorry, I have to piss real bad. I'm gonna.
No, you're good. I'll tell him about because friend of the show, the Rainy Street Ripper, Mike Eaton. Sorry, I messed up because of Mike. I'm saying Rainy Street Ripper, then I'm saying Mike. So Mike Rainey comes into my head. Pause. But no, Mike Eaton. God, I wish Pat was here. He would get such a kick out of this. But no, I was talking to Mike Eaton, I talk about him too much to not bring him on shows more. I was talking to Mike Eaton, and he's one of those dudes who's like, he literally says the words to me. He goes, "You don't like Chevelle?" And I'm like, Mike, who even says that, brother? But another one, he was like going on about Rise Against, just telling me how they're like one of the greatest bands. And it's like, yeah, I like their old stuff, but Rise Against problem was they just had this like mass produced vibe of political music. I remember two albums ago, I was listening to it, and every lyric was on par with just like, we need to rise up and overcome, get together, fight the power. And you're like, it was just all vague statements toward, yeah, like we gotta change, we gotta start a revolution. It was just like, it's so fascinating to hear like political music like that and just have it be so uninspired. But because of that, because of Mike Eaton just being Mike is a beautiful human being. He has the worst taste in music. It's either the shittiest butt rock or like or like punk rock adjacent butt rock or whatever the fuck, or like just dog shit house EDM electronic music, which I've come to like a little bit of that electronic shit, but Mike has the musical taste of a fat white woman. And oh my Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, pretty lady just walked by. But yeah, so I was keeping tabs on it. I was keeping tabs on that. And the new Rise Against album came on my radar, and I saw that, and I was just like, it's impressive how fucking bad this is. Like, he does weird shit to the vocals. He does a bunch of they do a bunch of odd stuff, and then mix that with, again, some of the most uninspired songs. Hey, look at those liquids. Look at my boy got the liquids. Well, I think this is a good. We're almost done with this. Sit your ass down. Get the fuck over here, you fucking jiggling mess. But let's answer some of these questions. Blood orange.
Blood orange.
That's a good question.
What are you using? What's your name?
Destroyer Boy 47. Hey bros. That's a band. Hey bros, I was wondering why a lot of the old Drag the Lake reaction videos were deleted. I miss those videos. On the Drag the Lake channel, Our
opinions have changed.
Well, no, here's the thing. So the Drag the Lake channel was like my own personal YouTube for a while. And then I would be doing like the Drag the Lake videos over there, or I would be doing music reactions and shit like that over there. What are you doing?
Set my pants on fire. What's up?
I thought you were cutting your nail. It sounded like a nail clipper. I was like, he's just cutting his nails. No, so that the channel that Drag the Lake is posted on was originally like a personal YouTube channel of mine. Or I posted an old podcast on there when I was doing the Dope Show and shit like that. And then I started doing reaction videos. And then when it shifted to Drag the Lake, I started noticing we were getting a bunch of views and likes because of the reaction videos. But then I'm like, people are finding this channel because of reaction videos, and then it's just gonna be a podcast. So it's like nothing they actually want is gonna be on there. And I was like, I didn't delete them, but I did set them to private. But
yeah,
I do post a lot more reactions and stuff on my personal YouTube channel here. So I'm doing a lot of streams and stuff, but I will be posting more reaction videos because I feel a little embarrassed about them because I understand the perception, but boy howdy, do people like watching me watch music. And I gotta be honest, I don't want to deny them that.
Hey, Andy, did you know there's a new Lorna Shore album?
Lorna Shore?
Who?
What? Oh, yeah, I forgot the fucking TikTok.
I just thought about that because I saw this earlier and I was like, oh yeah, we made a video.
Well,
how'd that do?
Have you listened to the new Lorna? What?
How'd that do? On TikTok.
Oh, not great at all.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really
What?
if I post a video being like, "There's a new fucking shit dick song," people are like, "What? Viral?"
Shit, Nick?
I listened to one or two of the new Lorna Shore songs, and it was again. It reminded me of why I don't listen to them. I don't think I'm not. That sounded really cunty. I don't think they're like a bad band. They just are like artistically very limited for me.
Just artistically not very good.
Have you listened to them?
No.
Yeah, no, they
My instincts are usually correct. If I'm not drawn to something, I'll like, or I listen to them and I'll go like, you know what I mean? Like that's the most I'll give something is I'll just go like,
well,
yeah.
the problem with Lorna Shore is you hear them and you immediately go, "Oh, everyone's really talented."
Yeah.
The Will Ramos guy can do 50 different fucking voices, and all that other shit. Sound like a monster and do all that. But then when you listen to the song, it's just shredding and blast beats, and which is cool. But like when I want that, it's like, dude, I'll go listen to. I don't know. I was just listening to A Job for a Cowboy again. Like they make it creative. Lawrence Shore just lets you know, like, hey, we can just play really fast for a while.
Yeah.
And then I gotta be honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The fucking creepy monster voices they do in deathcore is No, they're doing it's the high pitch ones.
Yeah.
It's like go listen to a band like Psycho Frame. They do it the best, but outside of that deathcore shit is exhausting. It's again, it's that problem where you go, if someone was describing them to you, you'd be like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
But then when you listen to it, it's just not there like that. So I don't really listen to Lorna Shore. I never went to Ozfest. I was always a Warped Tour guy. Did you go to Ozfest?
No, I my brother did, and I remember thinking it just sounds like a fucking nightmare because it was like there was a part of it where it was like it's not bad, right?
It's okay.
But there was like it was I think there was a
It's more about I appreciate it. It's more about the blood orange.
What do you mean? You don't like blood orange?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I don't dislike it.
Well,
it's not
no. I'll fuck myself. Yeah.
I mean,
Just let me fuck. After I make this point, I'll fuck myself.
I got to be honest. You did switch me on the Ramblers though.
Oh, regular plain Rambler,
dude. Well,
plain Rambler.
No, I've had a plain Rambler. It's
Oh.
when you treated me to the grapefruit Ramblers.
Oh,
brother.
Grapefruit Ramblers.
And
Get
if
out
you
of
could
town.
if you could be so humble as bestow one more on me at some point today, I'd be.
I don't have any I don't have any grapefruit, but I think I have blackberry. It's another experience, brother.
When I go fill my water up, can I grab one?
You can grab two because I want one of those jokers too, brother. But no, Ozfest was like they were like, oh yeah, you just go out there. There's like this big campground, and you camp out for 3 days. And I was just like, nope, no.
Yeah.
If you can't get it, like to me, Warped Tour was perfect because it was a day. It was a nice long day.
Yeah.
And it was
you don't need to do that for multiple. I don't know.
If I went to go back and sleep in a tent after the first day of Warped Tour, before the next 2 days of Warped Tour, before I know for sure the bands that I definitely came here to see are going to play,
even
the first day's a waste at that point.
Have you ever watched videos of people who go like, I'm camping out for Coachella, and they just get a fucking apartment basically? But dude, even that, where it's like you're technically camping, but it's so you got a fucking generator so you can
glamping.
You can like, yeah. You're like glamping almost. Even that looks like it sucks ass. I go, if I'm going to a festival for multiple days, I'm going back to a hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that. But yeah, Destroy Boy, I will I'll try to do more. I'll be honest, they're not like my I don't dislike doing them.
What?
Reaction videos. There is a part of me where I go, I don't want to be considered but also I'm floundering, so anything that'll make me popular.
You know what I just thought of? We could do like if we wanted to, we could do reaction. We could do live. We could do reaction videos at the end, like we're doing here. Where we're like kind of answering some questions at the end. We could separate this from the YouTube video, and we could just play. We could do live reaction stuff.
I will say, I think I've seen him comment before, and I remember, or someone messaged me, and they liked the ones we did together.
Yeah, I think we could. Well, and we could do that like this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
Is that a real question?
What? I don't know. Click on it.
This one?
Yeah. Who is Punk's Kurt Cobain? Too many to list. In what aspect?
Like
That,
died too young, kind of thing.
who shot themselves with a
I
shotgun?
was gonna say Jason Matthew Thirsk. He literally killed himself with suicide, and it definitely changed Pennywise. That was my theory. Remember, after Live at the Key Club, and which is mostly, and most of those songs were written by Jason Matthew Thirsk, including Broham, by the way. The
Did he have
song
a
that they
second-
later on they didn't even write a song as a tribute to him. They just used a song he wrote and said like, no, it's about you now. Oh, whoa. He wrote that song. He plays on that song.
Yeah.
And like they re-recorded it obviously with the new lyrics and shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, and it's a beautiful gesture and a perfect song, but that just shows you like he should have been the end of that band.
But here's my thing though. Is there a Kurt Cobain? Is there like a person in punk rock who is like a big figure like Kurt Cobain who died though? Like I'm trying to think. Because I know in like the shit I listened to, like a good amount of the people I was a fan of in high school are still alive. I don't know if any of them died.
Yeah.
I can't think of any. Because like that kind of got when I was in high school, a lot of that was getting phased out because I think the grunge era made like heavy drug use not as cool.
Yeah.
And even the dudes who were like heavy into like heroin, like Johnny Craig and shit like that, a lot of them are still alive.
And even when like Tony Sly died from No Use for a Name, but like that was way later.
Yeah.
In his career, I mean, like that was.
Yeah.
So I honestly I feel like the closest thing would be Jason Matthew Thirsk, only because of the suicide part. He was the one
suicide part, not the. I'm not trying to be shitty, not the popularity part.
Not popularity, but as far as like talent wise,
yeah,
he was for sure the most of the songwriting talent in that band.
Yeah, let's do one more. Scroll down. Anti-flag. He's just happy about rape. Okay, that's just Runaway being racist. Scroll a little more. Big fan. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. We could try to record some reactions together.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's
Pat keeps Andy on
Darby
track.
Crash. Darby Crash is a good one. That's
wait. No.
What?
No. Huh? No. Pat helps keep Andy on track. How dare
All
you?
love. You forgot that part. All love.
Pat's
LMAO.
also a fucking retard who rambles. You son of a bitch. We keep each other on track.
I mean, but you know.
No.
I'm kind of the conductor here.
No.
Who's got the mouse?
No, you switch topics every 5 seconds. You're a runaway
Darby Crash.
Train.
I don't
runaway
switch
train
topics
and
at
you're
all.
bad at doing it alone.
Darby Crash. Are you familiar with Darby Crash?
I'm familiar with you doing the same shit I do, but for some reason I get fucking picked out of the line differently.
He had AIDS.
I got rid of those. All right. Wait, there was one something about
it's not Darby Crash. He had AIDS.
Shut up. The fuck up. Scroll up. There was something about a debate.
Oh.
I thought it was interesting. Keep going. Don't just scroll a little and stop. Scroll
Well, I'm
slowly
trying to
up.
not block them.
What?
I'm trying not to block them.
I know which one it was. Just keep going.
Oh.
Don't give me that.
How do you fucking know?
Get it out. That one. Because I saw it
This
before.
one here?
No, the one that says the word debate. I had this debate recently. Very interesting. Do the scenes cannibalize themselves and a new genre just fills the void? No. I mean, we were talking about punk this whole time. I don't think punk cannibalized itself. I think it just got boring.
It just moves with the genre. It just moves with the generation. I think scenes and genres in general, for the most part, are generational. Sometimes they get revisited as like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, this is like 90s fashion. And you're like, it's just clothes that fit you better. And they're not super, you know what I mean? Like it's just, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just they're kind of baggy clothes, you fucking retard.
And
like,
in addition to that, I remember we were talking about it when we were talking about the like second self-titled Rancid.
Yeah.
Isn't it the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that one, and I just go like, yeah, I think around the early 2010s, punk just stopped evolving, and it didn't evolve for like a decade. So that also happens where if the genre. Well, I don't think genres cannibalize themselves. I will say scenes can cannibal. Like we saw that with See You Space Cowboy. They let their ultra progressive fans run the show, so they let their own fans cancel themselves because they didn't follow their very strict autistic rules of how to exist. Yeah. So like, no, I think fan bases can cannibalize fans if you let them run the show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I think just in general, like scenes and genres and things like that kind of just they obviously they stay with the people that love them, but like over time it doesn't mean that they can't grow or change or anything like that, but
Well,
they
I think that a
I
lot
think
of
it just they just shift with them, and then yes, there is a space there, but it's already getting filled with the thing that's coming up.
and then
You know what I'm
some
saying?
run
Like,
their course.
yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah.
happened
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
I think that's what happened with hair metal.
And the swing thing, like you were saying, like they're like, "What
Yeah.
about that thing from the '40s?" Say, and everybody's like, "Yeah, that's fun. Like we're drunk, we're on drugs and shit. This is cool."
That's why we stopped doing that.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh wait, this sucks," and then they stop doing it, and you're like,
Yeah.
because that was like a year, right? A year or two
Bro, it might have
of
been.
that,
Yeah, it was I think
And then
it
it was-
was about a year, right?
and then it was fucking gone.
Camps down riot. Go back about love.
I'll tell you though, it burned red hot, but it was still like one of those things where it was just like that was like that didn't cannibalize self. I think you're right. There's the three it just progresses and grows with the fan base,
Well,
and then it just basically it just kind of something else takes its place, and some things just take their course.
because I think every genre stays fresh for like 5 years, and then you got to do something a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's why a band like the Wonder Years is still popular
Oh.
versus like other pop punk bands. If you look at like the Wonder Years, doesn't sound like their old shit, but their old shit's still fun because they evolve naturally. Pat Doctor, what does that mean?
I conduct you.
No. Pat is as fucking retarded and scatterbrained as me. I don't like this narrative.
This is a cool thing though.
There's a huge skinhead hardcore revival right now, suggesting otherwise indicates an absence from the scene.
I think that's a good point because that's the thing with like when skinheads and Nazis and shit like that run amok. That's what that movie. Remember that movie I was telling you about, Freaky Stories?
What?
It's all about this punk scene that is getting bullied by these Nazis that just come in and beat them all up, and they're like, "What do we do?" And they're like, "We gotta fight back."
Is he saying there's a huge like bad skinhead revival?
That could essentially be a good representation of like the scene right now is not existent.
Yeah, well, there are well, also too, I think some skinhead bands are coming back because people are finding out skinhead isn't exclusive to dickhead white supremacist guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are finding out that a lot of the white supremacists and Nazis co-opted skinhead. Skinhead was actually like a very
what the hell
Nazis skinhead.
Trying to take this one off.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm kind of saying, Drew.
Oh,
is
yeah,
like the skinhead shit got co-opted by.
I was talking about the movie. Then the movie, there's Nazi guys that are going to the thing.
No, I think the skinhead thing's getting a revival because I think one, the music's good and people are realizing it's not like the white supremacist Nazi guys don't own it. They just kind of stole it. The same way the Nazis stole all their fucking symbols. You know what I mean? Like the fucking swastika was some Buddhist shit. Like they stole all their symbols. I'll leave it to Destroy. I'm just teasing. Pat's trying to change the narrative like he's the most focused guy in the world.
I absolutely am.
Okay. All right. This is Drag the Lake. Thank you.
Oh, Andy's leaving.
I gotta go pee and get us some black cherries.
See what happens? See what happens? They're in the bottom drawer.